Hi, my name is Bryan, and I'm a New Life program graduate. I realized I had a problem with drugs when I ended up being homeless, and my friends that I would hang out with, after a few days, they all went home, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And that's when I realized, maybe I do have a problem with drugs. And I remember being alone at night and thinking there has to be more to life than this. I knew I could change my life, I just didn't know how I could change it. So I felt hopeless in the sense that I wanted a good life, but I wanted it in my terms to where I could get away doing certain things. And it just wouldn't work out like that. There was something that I had to change, and I didn't know how. I heard about the mission because I had to do community service. So I would go to the Second Chance thrift store and do community service. But I always thought that it was for people that were at a lower level in life. So I definitely felt some kind of pride coming in. I just didn't think it was for people like me. When I came in after doing the detox program, I was placed in the New Life program. The main thing that helped me while I was in the program was when I heard one of the counselors said that I don't have to do drugs. I always felt like in order for me to enjoy life, that I had to do drugs. And when they told me that, I realized I don't have to do drugs. And then I also heard that we had to live life on life's terms. That really opened my eyes to where I realized, it's not all about seeking pleasure and seeking whatever I want to do. There's a purpose, there's a higher purpose. Since I came to the mission, my whole life has changed. I had a daughter as soon as I graduated the mission, and then I soon got married. I got involved in church. I started being of service, whether it was at church or 12-step meetings. One of the challenges I faced in the program was learning to accept that I was just like everybody who was in the program with me. I went through the same experiences. Most addicts, we live a pretty similar story. Learning to accept that I was like everybody else that was here was a big challenge for me. Learning to be able to say that I'm an addict was a challenge for me. Being in a fellowship with other addicts and having all that time, a lot of people don't get 120 days to focus on fixing their lives. And now I realize that it was actually an opportunity that I got to be able to work on myself for 120 days to where I don't have to focus about, I gotta pay the bills or I gotta get to work. And it was just focus on learning who I am and learning who I want to be and learning how to get there. Everybody who I met in that time period played a different role in helping me. Also, I would read my Bible, Narcotics Anonymous books. So even though I was learning from other people, even when I wasn't around other people, I was still trying to learn. It was a big factor in my life changing that I was always willing to learn, and I always assumed that whoever was speaking knew something that I didn't. When I was a child, my mother passed away, and since that happened, I hated God. Like, I didn't want anything to do with God. I didn't want to hear people talk about God. Then fast forward to my brother got saved, and he would always talk to me about God. And at first I would get mad, but what the words he was telling me, I would still remember. When I got to the mission, I had already believed in God, but I was really distant from him. And I thought God had to do what I wanted in order for him to be a good God. When I got to the mission, with all the devotions and all the chapels and Bible studies, I learned that he doesn't have to do anything because just having God is already enough. And it's a privilege to be able to have a Savior, a loving Savior like God. So before the mission, I had an understanding of who God was, but during my time at the mission, I was able to build a relationship with God. In reality, that's what changed me. Now I would describe myself as a husband, first of all, as a person who has changed and who just wants to help other people. I try to be understanding. Even if something's going on that I don't like or somebody's doing something that I don't like, I just try to understand why they might be doing it. Maybe it's just they have a different point of view of life than I do, Or maybe they know something that I don't know and that's why they're doing it. But I just try to be understanding to everybody, pretty much.
That's good.
The Crossroads mission is more than just a shelter. It's more than just a treatment center or a detox facility. The mission, it's a house of miracles. If you spend a day or two at the mission, you'll see a miracle every day. You'll see how God can change people's lives. It's definitely a place of growth, a place of change, and a place of love. For the people that are still struggling today, that may be either addicted to drugs or they're homeless or just living any kind of criminal lifestyle, I would like to tell you that you are worthy of living a better life. You are worthy of having the love of God, and you could be at a place today that you don't necessarily want to be at, and that's okay, but it's not okay to stay there, and it's up to you to reach out. We can try to help you change, but if you don't want to change, then you're not going to change. So it's up to you to make the decision to change.